This is Marilyn Monroe in a movie called Niagara, and all he did was take a publicity still from the studio, a black and white publicity still. Ready? And this is the same thing in a way. She's no different from a Campbell soup can in what happens next, which is what kind of colors, which is off registration. Off registration. In other words, the photo's in there, but whatever he did with the silk screen, he kind of missed.
But what's most important to me for you is that the love of your life is going to come into your life through this process.
Okay.
So it's under the chuppah, honey. I've been telling you this since I met you. And what people need to understand is when we receive information and you're on the frequency level and you're getting that info, sometimes God doesn't give you the month, the day, and the year. Right?
Right.
Sometimes God gives you a season.
My name is Rage Sinclair. Today we present on behalf of the Poe Artistry line of children's books, Stinky Pooh, Who Are You? By Rage Sinclair. On a hot Brooklyn day, under a hazy, humid heat, a young boy stands dirty from afro to feet. Although kind of heart and a stomach bare of food, he was distracted by the words, "I wish I could."
The elevator man came around and he yelled, "Fire! Fire!" Oh my gosh, it was such a commotion. We had to act fast, so we went to the door. We felt it. And it wasn't hot, but when we opened it, we had to close it immediately because the smoke, it was so thick. There was no time to dress, so we just had to grab our coats. We shoved our arms in, and then Frank, he went to the window and he opened it. We were in the back of the hotel because Frank didn't want to spend the extra money to have a bigger room overlooking Fifth Avenue.
Sculpting. Stone sculpting is something I learned as an adult. And to develop a new skill, actually a new profession, because I'm a retired dentist and I can't practice anymore because I have Parkinson's disease. But I can sculpt, and I can use my skills from dentistry to sculpt large and colorful. And while I miss my patients, I have students now. I use a lot of tools.
You have a brown paint or like a tan color?
I do.
Okay, take your sponge brush, dip it into, I know your paint is probably in a little container.
Yeah.
But after you've dipped it in there, what happens is it gets pretty thick. You don't want to put that much on. Dab it onto your plate just to take some of it off. And then going all around the bottle, just intermittently, you're just pressing down and getting a perfect circle for the head of your sunflower.
You come back one day later and you're maxed out.
It's a totally different place. And that fifth turned into 10 spaces at the peak of the pandemic. We couldn't keep pace with the volume. The patients, it's almost like we were, I describe it this way, ambushed overnight, with the volume just kept rising and rising, and we just kept expanding and expanding to meet the needs.
Which is your own personal favorite?
My own personal favorite would have to be the pizza rustica that I was telling you about before.
Really?
Yes.
Because it's very light, it's fresh mozzarella, fresh tomato.
And it's on a thin crust.
A very thin crust, which
It's
Which I will show you. I have
unbelievable.
one ready over there.
Sure. We'd be happy to see it. Sure. That's a beautiful looking slice of
Yes.
pizza.
Oh,
It's
yes.
very, very light.
This is more than a slice.
That is a meal in
Nice,
itself.
Fresh tomato, fresh mozzarella. Excellent.
At a time when we're seeing an increase in anti-Semitism, it is so important that I, as a woman of color, speak out about those issues. You know, as someone who has experienced pain and hurt, it's important that individuals understand that we are part of one human family and our commonality. And we've got to talk about peace and love and tolerance and respect, and talk about our history, the history of African Americans, the history of Jews in this country as well, and all of that pain. And then we've got to talk to young people and children.
So now many years have passed since Tuesday's Children was established. How have things evolved? You know, what's new and different about the organization since its start? Sarah?
Yeah, Erica, thanks for asking. I think it's important, like we talked about before, to remember that our origin story is in meeting the needs of the families and meeting them where they are. So taking their guidance and making sure that we are using that as the pivot point for our evolution. They came to us soon after September 11th when they were realizing that there were so many 9/11 responders that were chronically and terminally ill. They realized that these families were also tremendously impacted by the tragedy on Tuesday, September 11th. And they said, please consider supporting these families that have bereavement concerns pending, really. It was important that we worked with different partners like the World Trade Center Health Program and NIOSH and other organizations to give us the resources that allowed us to find the 9/11 responders and put the same level of programming into the lives of those very deserving families. And as you can imagine, the numbers were different. Right after September 11th, we were dealing with thousands of people. And then with the 9/11 responders, we were dealing with tens of thousands of people.
The book is called Dream Journey, a spiritual guide for professionalizing your passion.
Yes.
Tell us about the book.
Sure. So this book is all about taking the things that you're passionate about, the things that your natural gifts and talents and abilities, and creating a career path and a lifestyle from it. So I consider the Dream Journey the ability or the pleasure or the blessing of being able to get up every single day and do what I love and get paid for it. But it takes another step to kind of give people insight and information from a spiritual perspective of how to actually do that, how to take their passions and turn them into profits.
It's in the suburbs of Manhasset, but it has an urban city feel. And what Manhasset needed was this beautiful restaurant, but Greek products and Mediterranean products. And I basically cross-utilized all the products that I sell in the market in the restaurant. In March 13th, 2020, just when we thought that business was doing really well and we finally made it and my dream finally came true, coronavirus hit. During that time, we didn't know what was going to happen. The next couple of months were very hard. It was myself and my chef, and we made it work. But it was very challenging times. June of 2020, I was able to bring back my old employees.
On February 28, 1991, just hours after President George H.W. Bush declared a ceasefire for the end of the Gulf War, Specialist Cindy Bowden was killed in action after her convoy struck a landmine. She was only 19. Cindy Bodwin did not die in vain. Neither did any other American who we honor on Memorial Day. But we should always remember that the decisions leading to war are those of policymakers, not the veterans themselves.
Our job is to help seniors and families plan for their future and protect what's important to them, because that's at the core of what an attorney is to be doing, not just here are some documents to sign, see you later. It's really part of an overall plan to help the family, to help seniors, protect their important assets. So that can be anything from estate planning, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, things like that, to healthcare proxies, to trusts, to asset protection.
Each week, as we moved from the spring into the summer, we were getting new updates from public health officials about how to protect yourself, whether people could be using the park in a certain manner or not. I remember at one point, we had shut down the dog park too.
I want to acknowledge Nassau County Legislator Ellen Birnbaum, North Hempstead Town Board members Lee Seaman and Veronica Lurvy, former Village of Great Neck Justice Mark D. Birnbaum, Village of Great Neck Plaza Justice Richard Kestenbaum, and I want to acknowledge with deep gratitude the members of Vigilant Fire Company who are with us tonight and who acted heroically on that day and who act heroically on so many days for all of our behalf.
Welcome, everyone, to the 87th Annual St. Patrick's Day celebration, brought to you by the Ancient Order of Hibernians, Division 4, Huntington, Long Island. This is a chance for all of us who are Irish and those who wish they were, which is everybody else, to commemorate our patron saint, St. Patrick.
The weather is just gorgeous. We're having a great time with my locals coming out and supporting us for the al fresco dining. So if you guys are at home and not doing anything and you feel like you want to come in and explore this wonderful, wonderful day that we're having, please come and enjoy.
I'm gonna leave all my
Hofstra University and the Plaza will provide a series of 6 monthly workshops to our village merchants and restaurant owners, free to them, paid for by the village. These workshops are to be provided initially by Zoom and hopefully later on, in person.
Throughout history, what has hate accomplished? In World War II, hatred cost the lives of millions of innocents. Hatred caused the greatest conflicts known to man, has only left the deathly blemish on mankind. Only love has the power to heal, the power to resolve, and the power to achieve a dream.
شب تاکی کم یافت دیل ما تو بودنی شب تاکی کم یافت
Second place is Alexander Coe and Henry Zong. Congratulations, second place.
One of the musical acts today at this street fair is Terry Waldo, and he's amazing. We can't wait to hear him perform, and here's a little bit about himself.
Well, I'm the last one standing of an earlier generation of people. I'm probably the world's authority on ragtime music, and we have our band from New York, the Gotham City Band. And they're the best guys that play this kind of 1920s music that you can find anywhere.
Your attention, please. Chaplain will now open our service.
You're all about stimulating Great Neck, the local economy, developing community pride, and letting the world know how wonderful Great Neck is and how amazing it is to live here. Today we're having the West Egg Street Fest. We have a lot of local vendors. We have some craft people. We have some food. We're going to have a live rock band performing shortly.
We'd all love to show the pride that we have in this